What is going on, you guys? How's everybody doing out there today? I am Gophxr, and here in today's video, I'm going to be showing you a massive 2-location build. We're going to be starting over here at the barn. Here at the barn, we're going to be growing all of the coca leaves. And then we're going to load up the coca leaves in a van, and we're going to head on over to the warehouse. Once you have your coca leaves, you're going to be pulling up over here to the warehouse. The handlers are going to be unloading everything into the chemist stations for them, and everything's fully automated. Listed here are all the items you're going to need for this build. 64 suspension racks, 64 full spectrum lights, 64 moisturizing pots, 8 large shelves, 8 safes, 1 bed, and 10 lockers. Alright, once you have all the items that you need, go ahead and grab your suspension racks and your large shelves and head on into the barn. We're going to start with your large shelves here on the left-hand side of the barn, one underneath every single window. Now do the same thing on the other side of the barn, one underneath every single window. Now the barn is broken up into 8 different parts. The shelves represent each part of the barn. Each botanist is going to have its own section. So pull out your suspension racks and let's get started. It's going to be 4 right here. And then 4 right next to it right here. So it's 8 suspension racks, 4 on each side of the shelf. Do the same thing on all the shelves in the room. When you're done laying down all the suspension racks, go ahead and grab your lights and start putting one underneath every single suspension rack. Once you're done putting down all of the spectrum lights, go ahead and grab your moisturizing pots and start putting one underneath every single light. Once you're done laying down all the moisturizing pots, go ahead and grab your safes, your lockers, and your bed, and head on into the barn. Start with your safes, and you're going to go right here, one in front of each setup on the left-hand side. And here on this side, it'll be on the right-hand side. Just like that. Now go ahead and grab your lockers and head upstairs. You're going to start on this wall right here. You're going to put 2. And then you're going to put 3 in the back of the room. Another 2 along this wall. And then you're going to put 3 right here. Just like that. And this bed is for you. You can go ahead and just stick it right here behind the lockers. You're now done setting up the grow room. Now we can set up the automation in the grow room. Go ahead and pull out your clipboard and start right here. You're going to select these 8 pots in this section. Once you have all 8 pots selected, press E to manage, select seed, select cocoa seed, and under additive here, go ahead and select fertilizer. And then under destination, you're going to choose the shelf right in front of the setup. Once the clipboard looks like this, that section's good to go. You can go ahead and put your clipboard away and pull your clipboard back out, and you've got to repeat this process 7 times. Select 8 pots, press E to manage, select seed, coca seed, additive, fertilizer, destination, safe in front of the setup. Just make sure that you're putting your clipboard away and pulling your clipboard back out in between each section. Once you've set the automation on all 64 moisturizing pots to lead to the safes, you can now start setting the filters on all 8 shelves. Start with this shelf right here. Press E to access storage. And on these 2 filters right here, we're going to be putting the blue soil. Click the whitelist, click add, and then scroll up until you see blue soil. You're going to be doing the same thing right here. filter, whitelist, add, blue soil. Now on these three on the top, you're going to be adding fertilizer. Go ahead, click the whitelist, and then add, and then find fertilizer. And do the same thing on these two slots here. Whitelist, add, fertilizer. Whitelist, add, fertilizer. And these three on the bottom, we're going to be adding the coca seed. Whitelist, add, coca seed. And the same thing for these two. Whitelist, add, coca seed. Whitelist, add, coca seed. Once your large shelf looks like this with 2 filters set on soils, 3 filters set on fertilizer, and 3 on coca seeds, that shelf's good to go. Now you got to do the same thing on the other 7 shelves inside the lab. Once you're done setting the filters on all 8 shelves, it's now time to hire employees to run the grow room. For this build, you're going to need to hire 8 botanists and 2 handlers. Once you've hired all the employees you need, go ahead and pull out your clipboard and walk up to your first botanist. Press E to manage, select locker, and go upstairs and choose a locker. Now select supplies and go downstairs and come over here to the very first botanist station and select this shelf. Now select pots and drying racks, hold shift on your keyboard, and select all 8 pots in this botanist growing station. Once you have all 8 pots selected, press escape, and make sure your clipboard looks like that. If it looks good, the botanist is good to go. There's 8 botanists, and there's 8 stations. You're going to be repeating the same thing you just did 7 more times. Once you're done setting all 8 botanists up with their job roles in their stations, go ahead and pull out your clipboard and walk up to your first handler. Press E to manage, select locker, and run upstairs and select a locker. Now under routes, go ahead and select add new 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then select none and run downstairs and select the loading bay across from where the workers are at. Now repeat the same thing on all these routes below. Select none, loading bay, none, loading bay, none, loading bay. And on this side, you're going to select 1 botanist shelf for each none. Select none, run over here, select a botanist shelf. Select none, go to another botanist shelf. And the same thing, none, a different botanist shelf, and one more time, none, a different botanist shelf. Just remember which side of the room that you did first, because you're going to be doing the same thing on the other side of the room with the other handler. Go ahead and pull your clipboard out and walk up to your last handler. Press E to manage, select locker, and run upstairs and choose the last locker. Under routes, choose add new 4 times. And then select none and go downstairs and select the same loading bay. And do the same thing on these 3 nuns right here. None, loading bay, none, loading bay, and one more time, none, loading bay. And then select none and run inside and select one of the botanist shelves. Remember, we're going to be doing the different side of the room than we did the other time. None, shelf, none, shelf. And one more time, the last shelf right here. Once that handler's clipboard looks like this, all of the job roles are good to go. Well, we set up the grow room, we set up the automation in the grow room, we've hired employees and set them up with job roles. Now all we need to do is stock the shelves. To get this thing cranking, you're gonna need 240 coca seeds, 240 fertilizer, and 160 bags of blue soil. Once you have all the items you need, you're gonna start stocking the botanist shelves. They're all gonna be stocked the exact same. They're gonna be looking like this. Walk up to the shelf, press E to access, and you're gonna be putting the soil where you put the soil filters. You're going to be putting the fertilizer where you put the fertilizer filters, and the same thing with the cocoa seeds. It'll look just like that. Now repeat the same process 7 more times on the other shelves with the rest of the items that you just got. Now that you've stocked the shelves, there's only one thing you got to do to get this thing cranking. Go upstairs and throw some money in every single one of the lockers, and the workers will immediately get to work. It only takes 1 day for this thing to start producing a mass quantity of leaves, and it's fully automated. The only thing that you gotta do is show up and empty the safes, load up the van, and bring it over to the next build, which brings us to part 2. Once you're done setting up the grow room in the barn, and you're ready to go at the warehouse, listed here are all the items that you're gonna need. 12 cauldrons, 12 lab ovens, 10 lockers, 5 large shelves, 2 brick presses, and 1 bed. Once you have all the items you need for the build, go ahead on into the warehouse and let's get started with your cauldrons. You're going to be putting 2 right here, right under the staircase, along the beams, and the same thing on the other side. Now go ahead and pull out your large shelves. You're going to be putting 1 along the beam, right here on the back of the cauldron, and the same thing over here on these 2. Now go ahead and pull out 2 more cauldrons, and you're going to be putting them right here. Just like that. And the same thing on the other side of the room with 2 cauldrons. 1 right there, and 1 right there next to it. Now go ahead over here and stand in front of this cauldron and pull out your lab ovens. You're going to be counting 2 clicks in front of the lab oven. 1, 2. Put another one right next to it. Now do the same thing over here. 1, 2, and then 1 right next to it. Now here in front of these cauldrons, do the same thing. Count 1, 2. It's going to be right next to the stairs. 1, 2, and another one right next to it. And do the same thing over here. Count 2 in front of the cauldron. And another one right next to it. Just like that. Now come back here to the back of the room and pull out your cauldrons, and you're going to be putting 1 on the back of each oven here. And do the same thing on the other side of the room. Now stand in front of this cauldron and count 4 clicks with your lab oven in your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And put 1 right next to it. And then come back here and put the last 2 lab ovens on the back of these 2 lab ovens. Just like that. Now you're going to take a large shelf and you're going to put 1 right in front of this lab oven setup right here. Just like this. Now go ahead and take your brick presses, and you're going to be putting 1 right here in front of this setup, and another one right here in front of this setup. And then take your last 2 large shelves and put 1 next to this brick press, and 1 next to this brick press. Now go ahead and take your lockers and come back here to the back of the room, and you're going to be putting 9 along the wall right here. And then put your last one right here along this wall. And go ahead and put your bed upstairs in your office. Right here. Now that we're done setting up the lab, we have to set up the automation in the lab. Super important that we don't miss any steps, so don't skip and follow along real closely. Every cauldron is going to be assigned to a lab oven. We're going to start with this one right here. Pull out your clipboard, press E to manage, select destination, and choose this lab oven right here. Pull your clipboard away and pull your clipboard back out. Press E to manage on this cauldron, and then choose destination, and then choose this lab oven right here. Now put your clipboard away, pull your clipboard back out, and you're going to select this cauldron right here. Choose destination, and then choose the lab oven right behind you. Put your clipboard away, pull your clipboard back out, choose this cauldron, select destination, and then choose the lab oven right behind it. Go ahead, put your clipboard away and pull your clipboard back out and walk up to this cauldron over here. Press E to manage, select destination, and choose this lab oven. Put your clipboard away, pull it back out, press E to manage on this cauldron, select destination, and then choose this lab oven right here. Put your clipboard back out and repeat the same process on the other side of the room. Each cauldron has its own lab oven. Pull out your clipboard, press E to manage, select destination, choose a cauldron. Clipboard away, back out, E to manage, destination, cauldron right here. 4 more to go. Once you have all the cauldrons set to go to the lab ovens, now we have to guide the lab ovens to go to the brick presses. We're gonna start with the left-hand side of the room first. Go ahead, pull out your clipboard and hold shift on your keyboard. And you're gonna be selecting all of the lab ovens on this side of the room. There's 6 of them in total. Once you have all lab ovens selected, press E to manage, select destination, and come over here and select the brick press. Now put your clipboard away and pull your clipboard back out. Press E to manage on the brick press, choose destination, and choose the shelf right next to it. Now go ahead and pull your clipboard back out, walk to this side of the room, hold shift on your keyboard, and select all of the lab ovens on this side of the room. Again, there's 6 in total. Once all 6 are selected, press E to manage, select destination, and then come over here and select the other brick press. Now put your clipboard away, pull your clipboard back out, press E to manage on this brick press, choose destination, and then select this shelf right here. Now that we're done setting up the automation in the lab, we have to set up what's being automated. So we have to set the filters on the 3 shelves that are connected to the cauldrons. Let's start over here. Walk up to this shelf, press E to access storage. To make it easy and fast, we're gonna do it this way. Click the filter, click the whitelist, click add, and then scroll down until you find the coca leaf. Once you've added the coca leaf, go ahead, click the 3 dots, and then click to apply siblings. We're not done yet though. One of these filters has to be set for gasoline. Go ahead and click the same filter, remove the coca leaf, click the whitelist, click add, and then go ahead and find gasoline. Once the shelf looks like this, it's good to go. You've got to do the same thing on 2 more shelves in the room. Click done and walk up to this shelf. Click E to access storage, click the filter, click the whitelist, click add, click the coca leaf, then click the 3 dots, click apply siblings, and then one more time on the same one, filter, delete the coca leaf from this one, click the whitelist, add, and then add the gasoline. The shelf's good to go. Let's move on to the last one. Press E to access the storage, filter, whitelist, add, coca leaf. 3 dots, apply siblings, and then one more time on this one, click the filter, delete the coca leaf, click add, and then add gasoline. Shelf looks good, and then it's good to go. Once you're done setting all the filters on the shelves, we can now get started with the filters on the cauldrons. Come over here, press E to use the cauldron, and on these 2 slots, we're going to be turning on the whitelist, but we're not going to be adding anything to it. What this does is it better allows us to control the leaf flow within the lab. Make sure you do it to all 12 cauldrons. You're now done setting up the full automation in the lab. Now we have to hire employees to run this place. For this build, you're going to need to hire 6 chemists and 4 handlers. Once you've hired all the employees you need, go ahead and pull out your clipboard and walk up to your first chemist. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose a locker. Now select assign stations, and you're going to come in here and you're going to choose 2 cauldrons and 2 lab ovens. Hold shift on your keyboard while you're doing it. Once you've selected those 4 stations, go ahead, press escape, and double check your clipboard. If it looks good, the chemist is good to go. Now pull out your clipboard and walk up to your second chemist. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose another locker. Now select assign stations, hold shift on your keyboard, and walk over here and choose these 4 stations. 2 lab ovens and 2 of the cauldrons. Press escape, check the clipboard, good to go. Now pull out your clipboard and walk up to your third chemist. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose another locker. Now select assign stations and come over here, hold shift on your keyboard, and select these 2 cauldrons and then these 2 lab ovens. Press escape, double check the clipboard. Good to go. Now pull out your clipboard and walk up to your fourth chemist. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose another locker. Now select assign stations, and then we're going to start on the other side of the room. Hold shift on your keyboard on these 2 cauldrons, and keep holding shift and select these 2 lab ovens. Press escape, check your clipboard, and you're good to go. Now pull out your clipboard, walk up to your 5th chemist and press E to manage. Select locker and go inside and choose another locker. Now select assign stations, hold shift on your keyboard, and we're gonna choose these 4 right here. These 2 lab ovens and these 2 cauldrons. Press escape, check the clipboard, good to go. Now pull out your clipboard and walk up to your last chemist. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose another locker. Now select assign stations and hold shift on your keyboard and come over here and choose the last 4 stations. These 2 cauldrons and these 2 lab ovens. Press escape. If the clipboard's good, the chemist is good to go. Once you're done with your chemist, go ahead and pull out your clipboard and walk up to your first handler. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose a locker. Now go ahead and click add new, select none, and go outside and choose the loading bay number 2. Now select none, go inside and choose this shelf right here. Now select add new, none, and the shelf again. Click none, choose a cauldron. Select add new, none, the shelf again, none, a different cauldron right here. Add new, none, shelf, none, a different cauldron right next to the shelf. And then one more time, add new, none, shelf, none, the last cauldron. Each chemist shelf has 4 cauldrons next to it. You're going to be doing the same thing for 2 more handlers. Go ahead and pull out your clipboard and walk up to your next handler. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose a locker. Again, add new, none, and then go select the loading bay. Now choose none, and then go choose a different shelf. To save time, click add new 4 times, and then select the shelf right in front of you on none 4 times in a row. Now click none, come over here and select this cauldron. Select none, select the cauldron next to it. Now go ahead, select none, and come over here to this side of the room and select this cauldron right here. Select none and choose the cauldron right next to it. Once the handler's clipboard looks like this, it's good to go. We gotta do it one more time for 1 more handler. Pull out your clipboard and walk up to your 3rd handler. Select locker, choose the locker in the back. Add none, select none, and then go choose the same loading bay number 2. Select none, and then come over here to the final chemistry shelf. Click add new 4 times. Choose the shelf in front of you 4 times. And then on these nuns, choose the 4 cauldrons. If the clipboard looks like that, the handler's good to go. Now go ahead and pull out your clipboard and walk up to your 4th handler. Press E to manage, select locker, and go inside and choose the last locker. Now choose assign stations, hold shift on your keyboard, and come over here and choose both of the brick presses. Press escape, and if the clipboard looks like this, the handler is good to go. You're now done setting up all the job roles for your new employees. Now we have to stock the shelves. To get this thing working, you're gonna need 300 gasoline. Once you've purchased all your gasoline, go ahead and you're gonna be putting 20 on each cauldron to get going. And now go ahead and put 20 on each one of the shelves. Make sure you're putting it in the gasoline slot that you've set the filter for before. Now that you've stocked all the shelves and you've stocked all the cauldrons, there's only one thing you gotta do to get this thing working. Come back here and throw some money in all of these lockers. By the time that you're done setting up the lab here, the grow room at the barn should have started to generate coca leaves. Let's go check it out. As you can see, the leaves are already starting to pile up in the safes. We're gonna go ahead and load up the van, and we're gonna bring it on over to the warehouse. Once you got the truck all loaded up, go ahead and get on in and head on over to the warehouse. When you get to the warehouse, all you gotta do is pull up here into loading bay number 2, and immediately these handlers are gonna start pulling some stuff out. Like I said, this thing is completely automated. all you've got to do is move leaves from one place to the other, and then come over here and collect bricks when it's all over. When you're running low on supplies, just pull up your phone, pull up deliveries, and order everything that you need, and have it sent to the right loading bay. And then the handlers will do the rest, both here and at the barn. Well, that's it, everybody. It's as easy as that to set up the brand new 2-location massive coca setup. If this thing helped you out at all, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. We'll see y'all next time. And remember, don't be toxic. Spread positivity.